Western Africa is starting to get pretty rich, and a lot of international investors are overlooking the
Yes, welcome back. Recently, I came across a viral video. I want us to take an exclusive look into what is going on exactly. This issue between black and white is something that has surfaced on social media like never before. I will play the video so we can discuss that. Just take a look at this.
a lot of international investors are overlooking the opportunities that exist in countries like Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. I believe that the next generation of ultra-rich billionaires in real estate are going to come from Western Africa. I had an opportunity to do consultation for a development company in Abidjan, and what I saw there was very surprising. The main business district, which is called Plateau, was so well developed that you would have mistaken it for a very wealthy Western city. And some of the areas that were less wealthy, like Cocody, had houses that would put any of our McMansions to shame. We need to have Western-style finance, which is already coming out there, mainly through Deutsche Bank and some of the Swiss banks that are making a lot of inroads into West Africa. As more of us Western investors realize that we can make amazing returns in Africa, we're going to start putting money in there, and it's just going to fuel a big fire.
I genuinely want to know what is going to make white people happy as a collective. I want to know. You have colonized the entire planet to where people that look like me is living in your regions. Then you complain and tell us to go back to where we come from. And that's not enough. You're not colonizing outer space so you can disrupt the aliens' peace they've had. Then you want to come back again for the second time and colonize us again when we haven't even stood up yet from the last 400 years of the shit job done.
I say this to you in the most polite of ways that I possibly can, but West Africa has never been overlooked. If West Africa was overlooked, then the slave trade would never have happened. If West Africa was overlooked, then Congo would not be in the state that it is right now. So I'm going to ask you really nicely, kindly refrain from thinking that Africa needs more foreign investors to come into Africa, and allow Africa to focus on Africa, Allow us to focus on whatever it is that we feel needs to happen for Africa. But in terms of foreign investors, I really think that it's not necessary, not at the moment. But if anything is to change, I'm sure that we will send you an invite. But as an African, I think that Africans would like to focus on solving our own problems at the moment, taking advantage of our opportunities at the moment, and making sure that Africa develops as a collective without any foreign investors. But I'm sure if you look at Australia or maybe somewhere in Europe, that there's also opportunities there, Like it's very important that you focus on your own people and the development of your own country. Isn't that what you tell us all the time, to focus on our own people and the development of our own countries? Allow us the opportunity to do that, because quite frankly, I feel like you've done quite a lot and enough, especially when it comes to West Africa. And West Africa really doesn't need any more foreign investors to come into West Africa. I could be wrong, and I'm really speaking for myself, but yeah, it's a no from me, hey.
In this video, he is basically talking about an experience that he had when he went to Abidjan, a city in West Africa, and he said it was so well developed that you would have mistaken it for a Western city, as if there aren't many developed cities on the continent of Africa. And basically, in this video, he is encouraging Western developers and investors to go over to West Africa and get in on the real estate game. They basically gentrify it like they do black and brown neighborhoods here in the US. And so this is very important. Just how they gentrify our neighborhoods and now we can't afford to live here, that'll be happening if they get their hands on the real estate game in West Africa. So if you are West African and black and you have resources, invest in your own country, invest in your own land.
So yesterday I posted a video where I was teaching this other white dude that was talking about how Western Africa is becoming rich and is the land of opportunities, and he was asking, created by the same people that have reported that video where I was exposing the white dudes. So the white supremacist have done their best to separate us. And when I was going through the comments before the video got banned, I saw a couple of pushbacks from some non-melanated people. And again, the same people trying to divide us, telling me, hey, listen, why are you speaking for Black Americans? They don't even like your Africans. I'm like, dudes, first of all, this is the same tactics that they have always used, trying to divide us all around the world, because us coming together is the biggest threat. But at the end of the day, I'm not speaking for anybody. I'm only speaking what my heart wanted me to express. And what I wanted to express was the fact that these people have been in Africa forever, and they've never provided us any solution. If anything, they are the one causing all the problems that we have, and then they pretend to offer a solution, but at the end of the day, they don't want us to have any solution because they profit off of our problems. So they have to keep us in bondage like that. That's what I was saying. Instead of y'all caring too much about what Africa is doing, what's happening in Africa, first of all, you owe African American reparation. Give them whatever you owe to them, and also us, Africa, would rather do business with African American than with y'all, because you guys have never given us any solution. So it's time for us to move on, and please leave us alone because you don't have our best.
Yes, immediately I watched this clip, I was a little bit furious. I went through the comment sections to see what people are writing. One woman wrote, "This lady trying to make this a black and white racial issue is full of it. Every investment is not exploitative. It can be a net positive for the investor and Africans. More finance for housing is good for every African country. The continent needs all the investment it can get, as long as we keep our eyes wide open. Dear brown, yellow, and white people, come and invest in properties in Africa." Yes, I decided to read out this comment because it makes sense. This is somebody that sees in my direction. I don't believe there should be division. When I hear this issue of black and white, I get furious. I hate to hear people talk about this topic. They keep going back into slavery, colonizers, this, that. You are not responsible for what your ancestors did. Though a lot of people bring up this argument and the level of hate keep increasing. This should not be happening. We are educated. In those days, our parents were not educated. We should think differently. I have said it on all my clips. We are one people. Why can't we learn to be one? Why must we continue to bring in this division? You are talking about investment, and you say whites are coming into Africa to exploit this and that. I just want to ask you a question. I just want to ask a question to most of these people. When I go around, especially in some part of Africa, I realize Chinese have colonized everywhere. Why can't you ask yourself what is going on? China is using the money trap to penetrate Africa, and they are succeeding. China comes in, borrow money into a country. When they realize you are suffering to pay back that money, they comes in to exploit your country. That is what is exactly happening in Africa. I don't want to call names of countries. I know exactly what I'm saying. China is doing this to many countries and they seem not to realize. When somebody does a video like this, you have limited ideas on what is going on. The first thing you jump on social media, you start doing insane videos. It is a good idea. When somebody wants to invest in your country, it will benefit you and the person. The person is not coming there to carry your land away. If you decide, tell the person that this investment you are doing or this housing you want to build here, I will give you this land within this short period of time, or let's just say 30 years. You are going to exploit this land for 30 years to do what you want. After 30 years, we take back our land. Like what is happening in UAE. In most of these Asian countries, you hardly own land. They give you the land, you exploit it, you build what you want to build. You have a limited years in that land. You own nothing. I'm talking because I've lived in these places. I understand better. And it has helped to develop this country. When I keep hearing this issue, Africans should come back home to develop their country. This was said 400 years ago. Look at where we are today. I keep hearing this kind of archaic, this old mentality. We need investors. Now addressing this last guy coming up with this issue of white supremacy, this is just a clear proof for people that have been brainwashed. When you stand up to argue with them, your discussions will not even end. I hate any person coming forward to talk about this issue of white supremacy. I have said it clear on most of my videos and I lost subscribers. We have a certain level of black supremacy. I'm a black person. I'm talking perspective of a black person. So when we keep saying, blaming others for our problems, like we saw what recently happened where 4 black officers take away the life of a black person, they came out and called the name of white supremacy. But those are kind of topics I hate to even watch. A black person taking away the life of a black person, then you are blaming white people for that. For us to solve these race issues, it is to first stop talking about it. We should stop blaming others for our problems. We should be responsible for our predicament. That is the beginning of solving race issues. Now going back to Africa, I realize we have corrupt leaders. When people sit in the diaspora, like we just sit and you're talking about these topics, you forget to know who you have back home. Corrupt leaders will still cooperate with people that will come and exploit your resources. They collect money behind you. I don't want to go deep into the level of corruptions in this part of the world because some will say, I'm standing up to defend the white person. I'm not doing so. If you watch this video very keenly, you realize my points are neutral. I'm calling that people should be one. That is my focus. I don't like to see this continuous division we struggle to create every single day. We can't do like this to have a better world. We can only have a better war if we come together, if we start recognizing the same red blood that is passing through this person is the same red blood passing through you. That is the only way we can succeed.